If you're looking for amazing fall or Halloween home decor and gifts, make sure to stop into Cox Honeyland in South Logan. In addition to Halloween and fall, they have hundreds of gift ideas for you, as well as samples of several of their delectable goodies like fudge, honey, and popcorn. Plus, honey is a great food storage item. Gift baskets are also available at Cox Honeyland and Gifts, 1780 South Highway 89, Logan.
Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU.
My name is Bruce Lee. I'm here with my co-host Sid Roder. We're here for another fun show.
This radio show is sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and efforts to provide information that is hopefully useful to seniors, their family members, caretakers, and really anybody who's interested.
Senior Moments, every Saturday morning at 7:30 right here on News Talk KVNU.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
And we welcome you to the show on a rainy Saturday morning. We'll feel right along with Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden, and welcome to the Garden Show, as it's definitely starting to feel like fall, Mark.
It is definitely feeling like fall.
Yep.
I don't mind the rain, though. You know, we kind of needed to clean the valley and
we did
refresh everything. I drove down. I was like, man, everybody's lawns are like green all of a sudden.
So pretty. Yeah. And the leaves up in the canyon. We were up in Logan Canyon this week, and just gorgeous colors up there. Even with, several people saying, well, their colors are not as vibrant this year as in years past. But you know what? It's still
really pretty.
So pretty.
Yeah, still really pretty. So, you can feel the temperatures change. It's probably time to start thinking about harvesting your squash. You know, we're getting to that point. I'm like, do I bring in a green container just to get everything out of my garden again this year? We did that last year. We just ordered a roll-off container, and they just dropped it in front of my garden. Oh. And we gathered up branches, and we did some pruning, and we cleaned up everything in the garden and just like tossed it all in the green waste. And the next day, it was gone. Oh. Didn't have to make 5 trips to the landfill, and it was actually really, really nice. Yeah.
Pretty easy way to go.
It was great. Yeah, it was so nice because you can have it for a week or 2 days or whatever you need. And we did it all in just one day, but we were able to gather up all that green waste in my yard. And we'd had some branches that had broken and some trees that really needed to be pruned, so we did that at the same time. And all of a sudden, the container was full. It's just like, dang, that's a lot of stuff.
It works.
It worked perfectly.
Well, and then also a lot of apples are coming on season. We've been starting to do some apples and canning and applesauce.
I've had a lot of people bringing samples into the store to try and identify stuff for them. So that's actually really quite enjoyable to try and identify fruits for people, figure out which variety it is. Maybe they bought a new house and there was a couple trees there, and they didn't pass on the information of what was planted, and so they're trying to guess what trees it is. But it's not too bad.
And this pear tree that I've mentioned a few times on the show, this is the first real year that we've had a good harvest on it. And we had always had picked them at the wrong time.
Right.
This year we picked them when they were green, put them in a box. We've kept them down in the basement.
And they've all just mellowed at the same time.
Yeah, and so we're enjoying just pears like
so
crazy.
Good. We had a couple bushels come off our tree too. It was like, this is like
so good.
This is like heaven. Yeah, amazing. Pumpkin Festival was a lot of fun last week. If you missed out on the Pumpkin Festival, it was a blast downtown on Center Street. We're estimating between 20 and 25,000 people show up for the Pumpkin Festival, and we just had a lot of fun. Our Center Street Giant this year weighed in at 1,917 pounds, and it was grown right here in Cache Valley. And so Alan Giebert.
Impressive.
Super
So
cool
huge.
pumpkin. Super cool pumpkin. We had 3 that we thought were going to break 2,000, and they were all just a little bit below 2,000 pounds. It seems like the pumpkins weighed a little light this year. And, when all the pumpkins started coming in light, I was like, oh, I hope the scale's not off. I hope the scale's not off. But then we checked it, and it was like within an ounce,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like super, super, super close. And, I guess it was just the weather, the growing season. It was a dry year. It was very, very hot, and the walls of the pumpkins were thinner than normal, and that's where all the weight is. The weight's in the walls, and so all the pumpkins weighed in, a percentage lighter than they should have. Yeah.
Well, but we still broke the record for Idaho, which was really cool.
Idaho state record. So we broke an Idaho state record, broke a Cache Valley record as well too. So Alan's got the Cache Valley record as well. And we just had so many cool pumpkins there. It was just really a lot of fun, and some great music. And the piting contest that Lee sponsored was sensational, and just tons of vendors, and everybody just seemed like they had a smile on their face and were having a great time. Yeah, having a great time. And I think the giant inflatable pumpkin right there by Main Street was like the
so
highlight.
cool.
Everybody loved it. Yeah, everybody's just like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
You just see how many people got their pictures taken with the giant pumpkin. So.
And the Utah Theater was packed.
Absolutely packed, yeah. I talked to
Families loved that.
to Gary Griffin the other day, and he's just like, every session was just like packed with people. And I was like, that is great. That is so awesome. I love it.
Yeah. The showing we poked our head into for the Charlie Brown, Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, there were so many people that they may or may not have been probably breaking fire code. But it's all right. It was a lot of fun.
People sitting in the aisles and standing in the back.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's cool. That's so cool.
It was just a lot of fun. And the weather was just perfect.
Yeah, it was absolutely
gorgeous.
Perfect. Yeah.
And I didn't see yours getting weighed. How did you do?
432 pounds, I think it was. So I was quite disappointed because last year mine was like 640, and so it was much smaller than last year. So, we'll get back to the drawing board. My garden just kind of got trashed last year when we dug. We had to put in a drain field for our new construction, and so we put infrastructure in, and it had to go through the garden, and then we had to put a drain field in there, and that had to go in the garden, and it just kind of messed up. It messed up my soil. So this is the worst cucumber year I've ever experienced. Like, our cucumbers were the absolute pits. They were just terrible, and our corn was very insufficient. We'll call it. It started out and it looked really good, and I fed it and I fed it and I fed it, and it still just didn't. It just didn't produce. It was a soil issue. So we'll blame it on the soil.
Well,
not on the.
Not on the grower.
Not on the operator, yeah.
never us growers' fault.
No. We'll blame it on the seed. The seed was bad.
Well, let's go out to the phone line. We can take those calls and questions this morning. If you have a question or comment for Mark Anderson as we're talking about fall harvesting, 753-KVNU, or any question that you may have. Kathy is joining us on the line from Dayton. Kathy, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Those pumpkins are amazing looking. We saw them outside your store the other day.
Oh, cool.
Really, really cool.
It's so much fun. You forget from year to year how huge they are. And so I've got people that come back and they were there the year before, and they're just like, I can't believe how big these are. It's so interesting to come and see what other people have done.
Yeah. The time.
Yes,
okay.
The time.
Do I still keep watering my fruit trees, although I've got most of the fruit picked off of them?
If we have a dry fall, which currently it is not dry, but it could change, and we could go dry for a couple of weeks or a month or so, I'll usually do a deep watering maybe once or twice in October if it's a really dry month, and maybe once in November. You just want some good soil moisture there for the trees to be able to utilize through the wintertime once the ground freezes. So if it's really, really dry and the ground freezes, then the soil becomes kind of hydrophobic, and even though the snow melts on top, it doesn't really penetrate in throughout the wintertime. It just kind of sits on the surface. And so we need that soil moisture down deeper. And so I'll water late in the fall just to make sure there's good ground moisture. And then if it freezes, then that moisture's there all winter for them.
Okie doke.
Yeah. So you don't have to water often, but just maybe, once a week for the next month if it needs it. Like we're getting some good rain right now. And then maybe once later in November just to get that good soil moisture in there before the ground freezes. Yeah.
Okay, I have we've already picked the apples off of the apple tree. There are so many bugs out there around the tree that it sounds like raindrops falling on it.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Good time to try and control those because right now the insects are laying a lot of eggs, and so if you can kill off some of the adults before they lay more eggs, you can decrease your population for next year. So, do you know what kind of insect it is? Is it?
I don't. They look almost like little tan things. I went out to try and catch them, but they're fast.
Yeah. Could be elm seed beetles. We're seeing an outbreak of those again, and they look like little small box elder bugs. And so that's a possibility. We are seeing a lot of aphids, but aphids don't move very fast, so usually you can catch those fairly easily. But a nice insecticide that would be safe for fruits and vegetables, like 7 or the Bug Blaster Lambda from High Yield would be excellent because you're going to get a nice long residual, but it's very low toxicity for people, and should do a great job to try and eradicate this outbreak before it gets going again.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
What do I do now to prepare my grass for winter? You said start mowing it lower, but how low do we go?
Right. So right now we've dropped our mower down probably a full inch, and in the next month we'll drop it down maybe another inch. And so for your last mowing, it would be awesome if our last mowing could be like today. But that's not very realistic. Sometimes I'll have customers that come in and it's like the middle of October. They're like, oh, just mowed my lawn for the last time this year. So what do I do now? It's like, well, good luck with that. It's going to grow some more. So usually we'll say, start dropping the blade down. By the time you do your last mowing, which might be the end of November or the 1st of December. I've mowed the 1st of December before. You want it down to about 1.5 inches. Just get it down nice and low and get rid of all that excess grass because it will grow a little bit underneath the snow. And so cutting it as close as you can in the fall really alleviates diseases and molds that will happen through the wintertime if you get a lot of snow that's sitting on top of it. And then your grass won't be shaggy and hard to clean up in the spring. It'll be a lot more manageable because you cut it really short in the fall. So I highly recommend that. And then right now is a great time to aerate if you would like to aerate your turf. And then probably between Halloween and Thanksgiving is when we're recommending you put your winterizer on. Don't do it too early. If you haven't fertilized this fall, you could do it this month. Lawns that just got fertilized, in September, Labor Day, they are really looking good right now. Like they've recovered from the hot, dry summer, and they are looking really, really good. So you could fertilize a little bit now, but make sure and put your winterizer on between Halloween and Thanksgiving.
Okie doke.
Okay.
I shall do all those things.
Wonderful.
Okay. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
You are so welcome. Thanks for calling, and have a wonderful weekend.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that frees up a phone line at 753-5868 if you have a question or comment for Mark. And, speaking of the wet weather we have, and this is something as I was walking out to the car this morning, I thought, it's time to turn back those sprinklers.
Oh, yes.
There's no reason that you need to be having those sprinklers run right now.
So the power temporarily went off at our place, and so it reset our timer. And I had adjusted the timers so that the sprinklers wouldn't go
for so many days
because we saw the storm was coming, And then I got home last night and I was like, "Oh, dang it! They're running. Why are they running in the middle of the day?" It's like I know I didn't set them for that, and it's like, "Oh crap, power went out the other day." And I didn't reset them, so that's my own fault.
So definitely a great time while you're thinking about it right now. Just go in. Flip those off, set them back, because
I wouldn't turn them off completely. Yeah, because through the rest of this month, we want to give them a little drink every now and then. Yeah. But, cut it way back. Once a week is like plenty. And you could go like once every week and a half through this month. And it's okay to let the grass start to go a little bit dormant, and we get rainstorms like this every now and then. For every inch of rain we get, that's a week and a half to 2 weeks that you don't have to water right now with the cooler temperatures. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's gonna translate into a week and a half to 2 weeks that you just don't have to water your lawn. And so just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it. But it is a great time to start thinking about fertilizing and prepping the lawn for winter. And when customers come in the store and we show them our 5-step lawn program where, every, 8 weeks to 10 weeks to 12 weeks, you should be fertilizing. And they're like, I just don't have the money this year. Which are the most important ones? And we'll pare it down and say, okay, these 2 are the most important ones.
Okay.
And the most important ones are right before the heat kicks in the summer.
Okay.
So we'll tell people between Mother's Day and Memorial Day. That's critical because we want the grass to be really healthy before the heat kicks in. But the same thing goes for winter. So your winterization is the next most important one because it will allow your grass to recover through the wintertime from the hot, dry summer that we've had. And so it's essential that you fertilize between now and when the snow flies. But really, we like to put on as late as possible. So we're doing sometime after Halloween.
Okay. But
before the snow comes and stays, which could be Thanksgiving. It could be the second week of December. Some years it's like right before Christmas, but we push it as late into November or early December as possible, and then that fertilizer will sit out there and feed the grass the entire winter. Like it will feed on that the entire winter, and your grass will be recuperated and recovered and rejuvenated for next year, and it will take off like crazy. So those are the 2 most critical times to fertilize your lawn to try and keep it healthy. It's better if you fertilize more consistently.
Okay.
All right. So if you're fertilizing every 10 weeks throughout the summer, it will perform a lot better. It gets hungry. I mean, do you like to eat twice a year?
Exactly.
Will?
I know.
Do you want to eat twice a year?
Yeah, you definitely. And that's something that we tend to neglect so many times.
Yeah.
We just think, we're watering it, we're fine.
Oh, turf's great. It just thrives on its own, but it uses up all that nutrient. So then all of a sudden there's nothing out there for it to consume. So those 2 are the critical ones. But fertilizing consistently throughout the year, your turf will be healthier. You will have fewer insects. You will have fewer disease problems. Your grass will just it will just perform a lot better if you can do that. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Bulbs are all in.
Oh, yes.
So tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, crocus, garlic. We've got a full selection of those right now. And October, it is planting time. So it's next week is our bulb week. And so we've got some great specials going on with like our Mad Money exchange is what we call it. So you can, if you've got Mad Money left over from the last sale, you can come in and you could exchange your Mad Money for bulbs. So it's $1 per tulip or $2 per daffodil. And the Mad Money Bulb Exchange, great way to get to bulbs to add to your yard. And we have literally hundreds of bulbs to choose from, and lots and lots of different colors, lots of maturity times. Some will bloom really early as soon as the snow melts. Some will bloom kind of mid-season in like April into early May, and some will be blooming the end of May. And the great thing about bulbs is you can't mess them up. Once you get those in the ground and get them watered, Mother Nature just takes care of all the rest. You don't have to do anything with it. So bulbs are a great way to add some early color to your yard and to your garden for next year. Every spring when the tulips are blooming, I have people come in. They're like, "Can I plant tulips now?" It's like, well, there's
a little too early.
There's no bulbs available. I'll see you in September. So September, October, November, that is bulb planting time. It is bulb week at Anderson's, and we have like every color, every style that you can think of. And all our bulbs come from Holland. So these are gorgeous bulbs. And despite the tariffs, prices stayed pretty close.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so
just
great.
A slight increase on the bulbs this year, despite our tariff increase. Okay. Our growers were very conscientious of that, and they tried to keep the price down. So,
great.
Yeah, they're awesome people to work with.
All right.
And I'm sure Hank will be here to visit with us sometime in this month, or maybe the last week, like that first weekend of November when we do, unfortunately, our last show for the year.
All of a sudden it dawned on me.
I was looking at the calendar this morning. I was like,
we're into the last month.
Man, I only got like 5 shows left.
Yeah. Before we know it, we're going to be talking about the holiday open house.
I know. And ski season's coming up too. So I heard that the new lodge at Beaver Mountain is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Marge's Lodge is it's being called.
Yeah. So I have not seen it, but I have heard from others that it's like, this is pretty impressive. So
yeah. A lot to get excited about.
Very cool.
Well, let's go back out to the phone lines. We have Charles who's joining us on the line from Hyde Park. Charles, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you. I had two questions. My first little question is it too late to overseed the lawn?
That totally depends on Mother Nature. Yeah. Generally, we will start discouraging people from planting between, I'll say, the 20th and the 30th of October. Once the soil temperature starts to change, it takes a lot longer for the grass seed to come up, and you're less likely to get that germination before the weather really starts to get bad in November. And so I would plant it as soon as possible. So this week, next week, you're probably great. After that, you're starting to take your chances.
Well, good. I still have time.
Do it immediately, especially with the rain. This would be like sensational. It'd be great, Charles.
Right. Okay. My really big question is 2 years ago, my trees are about 5 years old and they're just doing great. So
awesome.
I used 16 around the drip line 2 years ago and burned a big circle in my lawn that never went away.
Yes.
So then this year I went ahead and I read the directions just for the fun of it because I don't read directions. So I have a problem. And so I did 16 again, and I watered it in, but it still burnt holes in it. But the trees are looking great. They're 25 feet tall. They were happy, but my lawn wasn't.
Sure.
Is there another economical way to feed those trees, or am I putting the wrong thing on them at 16?
The triple 16 should be good. It might just be concentrated a little bit too much in that circle. You could distribute it over a broader location. So the tree is going to have feeder roots, not just only on that drip line area, but from the trunk all the way out, even past the drip line. So you can broadcast it through that entire like canopy area is what I would call it. So that canopy underneath the tree. You could broadcast that same amount through there. I really like the triple 16, but it's lacking micronutrients. And we found that micronutrients are critical for the fruit trees. So we're talking iron, copper, boron, manganese, zinc, those micros that are essential for the trees, but they don't need them in a large quantity. So they're not listed in the analysis of the fertilizer as much or as boldly as like your nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, your macronutrients. And so finding a fertilizer that has those micros in there is really, really important for fruit development and taste and the flavor and the quality of the fruit. And so Fertilum has a really great fruit tree, and it's like a fruit, nut, and citrus food that would be comparable to the triple 16. I do like Fertilum's tree and shrub food too, and they are a longer lasting fertilizer as well too. The triple 16 lasts about 2 months. These are like 3 to 4 month slow release fertilizers, so they'll last longer as well too. So that might be a good option to switch to. They go for the almost the same price. They probably go a little bit farther than the triple 16 does as well too. So might be a good option to take a look at, Charles.
Great. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And the nitrogen is a slower release nitrogen, and so it'll be much less likely to burn too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Yeah, I did it in a little 3-inch border, like a little channel around. So I know what I did wrong already.
Yep, just might have been too much nitrogen in the same location all at once, and the grass is a little susceptible to a nitrogen burn. So, yeah, but it should fill back in. Throw a little bit of humate on it. It'll recover. It'll come back.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling this morning, Charles.
You bet.
All right. We'll see you.
Thank you for being there.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
435-753-5868. That's 753 KVNU, an easy way to remember the phone line to be able to call in if you have a question or comment for Mark. You're at Anderson Seed and Garden.
We forgot to mention the cash sale.
Oh, yes. It's going on right now.
Because we bumped the discount up on the cash sale. Since it is the 1st of October, we decided we would increase that discount. So currently, if I'm not mistaken, because I've been in Salt Lake for conferences most of the week, so I haven't been at the store when they changed the price. But it should be 65% off with cash.
Okay.
And so that would be, I think it's 50% off with credit card or check.
Uh-huh.
But we gave a little extra discount. I think it's 65% off with cash. if you come in the store and it's not exactly what I said, my apologies, because honestly,
you've had a few things going on
for the last 3 days. Yeah, so very, very busy week. I was down in Salt Lake for multiple days. Had to run back up for an event, and then had to go back down there. And it's just like it's been a whirlwind of a week. So, and then I was like recovering from the Pumpkin Festival and other things as well too. So,
well, yeah, and that was quite a cleanup too.
We were out sweeping the street until 11 o'clock at night. We brought in those new barricades, and we thought that would save so much time because we didn't have to use the straw bales, and it still took the same amount of time to sweep
move
the street.
them around.
Yeah. But when we clean up, to be honest, I want it to be cleaner than when we got there. And so we were out there with the blowers and the brooms, and we're cleaning up everybody else's trash, and it's just like I just want it to be nice when we're done, and then a nice rainstorm afterwards is perfect because it gets rid of
cleans everything
what's left.
else up. Yeah, perfect.
There's always a little bit of dust left over we can't quite pick up. So,
yeah. Well, there's a lot more we can talk about, and we can take more of your calls for the Garden Guide here on KVNU. We've got our bottom of the hour news break. We'll be coming right back. If you've got a question or comment for Mark, phone lines are open at 753-KVNU. That's 753-5868. We'll be right back. Some of the top stories that are trending this hour. I'm Will Feelright. A 6-year-old boy was critically injured Thursday afternoon after he was hit by a car while riding his bike in Pleasant Grove. Now, the Pleasant Grove Police Department received the call at around 4:50 p.m. Thursday. Now, officers and EMS quickly arrived, performed life-saving measures before the child was transported to the American Fork Hospital. Now, the boy was later flown to Primary Children's Hospital. Police confirmed the driver remained at the scene and was cooperating fully with the investigation. Now, officers do not believe distraction or impairment were factors in the crash. They have not provided any update on the child's condition. And American Fork High School was evacuated Friday, and classes were canceled for the day after a note referencing a bomb was discovered, police confirmed. Now, the threat was found written on a sticky note under a desk in a classroom. Now, according to Principal Peter Glenn, he told parents that the note referenced a bomb that was scheduled for the science classroom the next day. Now, the precise time that the note was written could not be determined. The American Fork Police Department said that they believed the threat lacked credibility and that no suspicious items were ever found, but they advised the school to cancel the remaining schedule out of an abundance of caution. Now, of course, the cancellation on Friday came just a day after Ben Lomond's school was also canceled Thursday morning due to a similar bomb threat that was called into a 911 center. Well, we're going to continue to see some scattered showers and thunderstorms as temperatures the next several days going to stay right around the mid-50s with overnight temperatures getting down now into the high 30s to low 40s. Now, the storm expected to move out of the area by Saturday afternoon. We'll start to see some sunshine by the first of next week, with temperatures eventually getting back into the mid-70s by Wednesday. Will Feelright, KVNU News.
Good morning, I'm Judson Richards. We'll begin with Game 1 of the WNBA Finals. Las Vegas Aces hosting the Phoenix Mercury. The two teams meeting in the finals for the first time in WNBA history. The Aces seeking to join the Houston Comets as the only team to win the title 3 times in a 4-year span. Let's go to the fourth quarter now. Back and forth game, tied at 82. Aces on offense.
In the corner, Evans again! Dana Evans, her 5th 3 of the night off the bench, and it puts Vegas in front.
The call on ESPN: Evans with 21 points off the bench that tied the team high. The ball back in the hands of the Aces, trying to stretch it to a 5-point lead.
Gray lost the handle, and the ball lands with Young. Can't hit. Wilson the O-board. And another chance for Las Vegas. Wilson fading and hitting. Thomas gets it in. Copper guarded by Young. Looking for Sably. 8 seconds left. Phoenix has to move. 5 seconds left. Sably looking at the clock. Leaning. Can't hit. Rebound Young. The Aces take game 1.
There it is. Vegas. Aces take game one. Let's go to college football now. 23rd ranked BYU hosting West Virginia. BYU defeated Colorado 24-21 on Saturday to move their record to 4-0. Let's go to the highlights. BYU leading in the second quarter.
Bear takes his drop, dumps it off on the screen, middle this time. Parker Kingston has the first down and more. The 40, the 30, he's going to go. 20, 10, touchdown! It's a 2-touchdown quarter for Parker Kingston, and the Cougs take a 13-0 lead.
They call the BYU Sports Network. BYU is a winner to improve to 5-0.
Your local cow ranch, just what the country needs.
Everything is on sale for one day only at your local Cal Ranch. This Saturday, October 4th, start your shopping at 8 a.m. for 20% off all clothing, footwear, and clothing accessories from your favorite brands like Dickies, Wrangler, Ariat, and Georgia Boot. Then browse the rest of Cal Ranch for 10% off everything else. Grab all your fall hunting and camping gear with savings on camo and sporting goods. Get prepared for fall yard cleanup with leaf blowers, power tools, and lawn winterizer for less. And replenish your animal feed and pet food plus more for 10% off. Whatever your next project or adventure is, Cal Ranch is here to help for up to 20% off this Saturday.
Your local cow ranch, just what the country needs.
Shop on October 4th for 24 hours of store-wide savings.
The Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
And at 8:36 on this Saturday morning, welcome back to the Garden Guide here on KVNU. Just stepped out after the news and checked the rain gauge. Mark,
yeah, where are we at?
6,300.
Oh, nice.
That is just from yesterday morning to this morning.
Awesome.
Plus, you add on, we had another 10th before that. So,
and we got more coming.
And it's actually starting to rain now.
And we got more coming. So, yeah, if we get an inch of water out of this storm, that means you don't have to water for a week and a half.
Perfect.
Yeah. You just like turn your sprinklers off for a week and a half. So,
yeah.
And if we get more, that's even better because that helps saturate the soil deeper. And it's going to be great for our trees and our shrubs and our bulbs if you planted bulbs, because like bulbs need to be watered after they're planted. Some people forget. They plant them, they throw the fertilizer in there with them, they cover them up, and they forget to water them. And they absolutely need to be watered after they get planted. Otherwise, they start to pull moisture. The soil starts to pull moisture out of the bulb into the soil because the soil's drier than the bulbs, and so it'll like reverse osmosis. It'll pull the moisture out of them. So we don't want that.
All right.
Yeah, we don't want that.
So phone lines are open, 753-5868. That's 753-KVNU. And let's go right back out to the phone lines. We have Calvin who's joining us on the line. Calvin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I've taken my sweet corn that I have some left over, didn't get eaten, and drying it out, but I'd like to crack it for chickens and ducks and stuff like that, but I don't know any place to have it cracked. Do you know anybody?
That is a great question. Trenton Feed used to do that, and I'm not sure if they do still. Check with IFA. Check with Wheatland Seed also. So those are two good options, and then Western Seed over in Tremont. Those would probably be your three best bets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that Wheatland, like the grain?
Wheatland Seed. Yeah.
Okay. And another question: my Honeycrisp apples, some of them are starting to get big brown spots.
You got brown spots on them. Okay, there is a condition that affects Golden Delicious, Jonna Gold, and Honeycrisp because they all have similar parentage, and it's a condition that's called bitter pit. And bitter pit is caused by a lack of calcium in the tree, and it will cause brown corky lesions on the fruit, which look like kind of indentations. It looked like it got hit with hail, and then they will turn brown. And when you pick them and you store them, it will get worse. It will progressively get worse. And it's really from a calcium deficiency. And so we've got to use some calcium nitrate on your trees next year, especially your Honeycrisp. And if you've got a Golden Delicious or a John Gold, I would do it on all of those because it's a faster form of calcium that they can pick up. It's very readily available to them. Our soils have a lot of calcium in them, but it's not a form of calcium that the plants can pick up and utilize very well. That's why your tomatoes get blossom end rot. So this is similar to the blossom end rot, but it's manifesting in the apples instead of on your tomato. And so calcium will correct that. And it's very easy to get a small bag of calcium nitrate, just broadcast it underneath the canopy of your tree first thing in the spring, maybe again about 1st of June, just before summer hits, and it will completely fix it for you, Calvin.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You are so welcome. Put it on your calendar. Say, mark on your calendar, end of March, 1st of April, go see Mark, talk about bitter pit or just mention to me it's like a Honeycrisp apple. It's pretty common. And so if we're talking Honeycrisp or John Gold's or Golden Delicious, I'll know that that's something that we probably should just discuss in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thanks for calling this morning, Calvin.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll see you.
And that clears up a phone line at 753-KVNU. That's 753-5868.
It's kind of like going to the doctor, and he knows your history, and he knows you've got a history of like cholesterol and high triglycerides, and he's just going to ask you about it every time. When people come in and they're like, "I've got a Honeycrisp tree," it's like, I wonder if they've got bitter pit. It's just like it's already going in my mind. It's just like, that's something we should probably talk about because it's definitely like in that family because Honeycrisp have some Golden Delicious in them and John Gold's have Golden Delicious. That was like one of the parents, and so they're just susceptible to it. So you just got to be aware and stay on top of it. But just that two applications of calcium nitrate will completely take care of it. Yeah, and then your fruit will be better.
Now, as many fruit trees are done with their harvest, and a lot of us are going to be picking those last bushels of apples the next couple of weeks, what's the best way to prepare your trees for winter?
One, make sure and pick the fruit off the
get
trees.
Everything picked.
Pick the fruit off the trees. If necessary, you can do a little bit of pruning this fall. And so sometimes a little bit of maintenance pruning this fall is great. And some people even prune their trees after they've finished picking, so they don't have to in the spring, and that's just fine too. But in the spring, it seems like you still have to do a little bit of maintenance pruning because there's a little bit of damage that happens through the winter time. So that works just fine. And then kind of like what we mentioned with Kathy, just a good watering once every 2 weeks just to maintain some good soil moisture. And so a nice deep watering for those. And then a very slow release fertilizer really late in the season, kind of like what we recommended for the winterizer on the turf. Because we're going to wait until the end of October, 1st of November, because we don't want to encourage new growth. We just want to have a little bit of nutrient out there for the trees to pick up through the wintertime so that they're ready to go. Excuse me, next spring. And so that tree and shrub food would be sensational to throw on end of this month, first part of November. And do those deep waterings, and your trees are like set; they're like ready to go. It'll be perfect. We do recommend in October, though, if you have apples or pears, you want to make sure and spray preventatively for blister mites. So we saw tons and tons of blister mites this year, and they will transfer from the leaves that are on the tree right now to the leaf buds that are forming in late October, early November that will be your leaves for next year. So they'll transfer to those leaf buds, and then your leaves will come out. They'll already be damaged as soon as they open up next year. So it's critical that if you've had blister mite damage on apples or pears, that later this month you spray with a horticultural oil or a dormant oil just as the leaves are all falling off the trees. We spray to prevent those blister mites from coming back again next year, and then do your dormant spray next year as well too. But if you have stone fruits like peaches, nectarines, apricots, plums, cherries, we need to spray at the same time for diseases, because a lot of those diseases will transfer from the growth this year to the leaf buds for next year, and then you'll have leaves that are damaged from disease next spring when they first come out. So it helps with shot hole fungus, it helps with peach leaf curl, it helps with bacterial bud blight. So what I usually recommend is take that horticultural oil or that dormant oil and mix a disease control in with it that works on all these diseases. So we'd use like F-stop, or we'd use fungicide 5, or we could use copper soap, a copper-based fungicide, and Fertilome, High Yield. They have all these products, and you would want to mix that right in with your High Yield dormant spray or your Fertilome horticultural oil, and spray them all at the same time.
Okay.
And just spray all your fruit trees with it. So it'd be just like doing your dormant spray in the spring. We're going to do it in the fall, and you're going to prevent blister mites for next year, and you're going to prevent diseases from wintering over and starting to cause problems again next year. And mid to late October is like prime time for doing it. And sometimes we'll recommend you hit it again, after the 1st of November if you've got some extra time. But it's essential to prevent a lot of this stuff, because in the spring, once those leaves start coming out, the damage is already done, and you go, oh, dang it. It's like, how do I fix that?
Yeah.
And then I have so many samples that come in. I'm just like, I'm sorry, it's already damaged for this year. It's like, we got to prevent it for next year, and so now is the time to start thinking about preventing that. Otherwise, you're going to get it again next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go back out to the phone lines. Chuck has been holding on the line from Nibley. Welcome to the show, Chuck.
Hi there. I feel like a radio star.
You are a radio star, yeah.
So I bought this house in January. The previous owner had not done any lawn care whatsoever for 6 years.
Gotcha.
So I had a lot of sprinkler problems, but my grass.
Yes.
I have the worst lawn in the neighborhood, and I feel terrible. There's a lot of weeds. And I thought, well, I'll just mow stuff and keep going there and see what happens. Well, it's really not. It's gotten a little bit better. But
sure.
What I want to know, I was just listening to you talk about right now is a great place or great time to plant grass.
Yes.
So do I go around? Okay. So do I spread grass or the seeds over the weeds and stuff, rake it? What do I do?
Okay.
I have patches of good grass.
I totally hear you, and I sympathize completely, Chuck. I got it. So my game plan would be, as soon as it stops raining, spray for those weeds. We can kill 98% of your weeds with one application this early part of October. And you have some really good options. So I would recommend Weed Free Zone from Fertilome, or possibly Spurge Power if you got some really hard to kill stuff. If you got lots of Morning Glory, Weed Free Zone's awesome, and it's fast. It works really, really quickly. But you could plant just a couple days after that spray, because the herbicide breaks down really quickly. But we want to kill them first, because if you plant your grass and the grass starts to come up and then we spray for weeds, you could damage your new grass. So we're going to spray as soon as this storm's over, and we're going to kill like almost all your weeds completely, and then seed right after that. And what I would do is I would mow the grass and the weeds down as close as you possibly can, just like scalp it right down to the ground. And then we're going to broadcast some new seed over that. And there are some amazing varieties of grass that you can plant right now that will be drought tolerant. You don't have to water as much. They are insect and disease resistant. You'll never have to apply an insecticide. It just resists the insects to begin with. And you can overseed that right over your existing grass. You don't even have to kill that out. You can just plant right over the top of it. And these grasses will eventually take over your grass and fill in those spots where all those weeds are as well too. But what I would do is, after you broadcast it on, take a leaf rake and go out there and just rake the whole thing. Just rake it. And what you're going to do is you're going to rake that turf so that the grass seed gets agitated and it falls down and makes contact with the soil. It's critical that the seed contacts the soil, or otherwise it won't germinate. And so a little bit of raking afterwards is great. Some customers, if the area is not too big, some of our homeowners will put a teeny bit of topsoil down over the short grass and rake that in, so you have a little bit of soil out there for the grass seed to take in. It just depends on how bad your turf is and how large of an area is. If you want to try and do that, that does really help a lot.
It's quite large.
Okay, yeah. If you want to maybe do the front yard, just like critical areas where you want it to look really, really nice, you can bring a little bit of topsoil in and just do that in a couple areas, and you'll notice the difference. It'll just come up better. And then and a little bit of water every day. And we're not talking an hour worth of water, and we're talking 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes twice a day, just to have a little bit of moisture out there throughout the day. I'd do it at like 10 o'clock in the morning and then do it again at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So there's just a little bit of moisture out there all day. And then your grass will be up in, honestly, 7 to 10 days. You'll have brand new grass popping up like crazy. You won't be able to mow it before winter sets in, but it will be well established, and then it will just really take off next spring.
I was going to mow my lawn today, but I got out of that one.
Yep. You've had a reprieve. Reprieve, and then fertilize. Okay. Put down a fertilizer at the same time, because that grass is going to need to be fed. So if you plant next week, I would plan on fertilizing right when you seed it. New lawn starter or triple 16, but then right before Thanksgiving, do it again. Feed it again. That way it'll feed it all winter, and by next spring, that grass will just take off, and you'll go, oh my gosh, my lawn's like 10 times better than it was last year. It won't be perfect, but it's going to be like much improved. But then by Memorial Day, you'll be like, dang, this is like awesome. Maybe we'll throw a little bit of new seed on again next spring just to kind of fill in some spots. But, by next summer, you're going to be like, this is amazing.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, thank you very much. And, I go into your store every once in a while, and I've got to tell you that your help is some of the nicest people I've ever met.
Thank you. Thank you
for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. We try and hire for personality and for friendliness and people that like to hang out with people, and we can teach them everything else that they need to know. So if they don't know a lot about gardening, we can train we can train them, but it's hard to teach, kindness and accessibility. So,
yes, and but I appreciate that as a customer.
Oh, thank you.
So I just want to know.
That's awesome, Chuck. That's like the best. You've made my day. We'll put it that way. That's like the best thing I can hear is like how kind my employees are to the customer. So thank you so much.
Ronette's a great woman too. I haven't years, but anyway.
Yeah.
I'll thank you for your advice. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And I had a follow-up with that. A neighbor of ours are reseeding their yard.
Yeah.
And I noticed they use straw this year.
Yeah, you can use straw.
And, that's a great option.
Yeah.
I thought,
it does make a little bit of a mess, and sometimes you get a little bit of winter wheat that comes up as well, too.
But a great way to be able just to give yourself that little barrier to help keep the moisture, because that's really what you got to do is just keep
The straw's pretty inexpensive. I prefer coconut coir or peat moss because it doesn't encourage new weeds
growth
and stuff. Yeah, but it really helps keep that soil moist. So then all of a sudden you've got like grass popping up all over the place. But lots of people through the years, through the decades, have used
just throwing a little
bit of straw out there. Yeah, it's pretty. It's not super common, but it's not unusual.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we still have time maybe for one more call. 753-KVNU, 753-5868, or 752-KVNU.
That was a great question by Chuck, because a lot of people don't realize that you can take an old lawn that is like starting to struggle, having problems, and you can rejuvenate it.
Yeah.
And it's really easy. It's not hard. It doesn't take a whole lot of work. I mean, Chuck's going to spend, 20 minutes spraying his lawn, and then another 20 minutes overseeding, and that's it.
And that's all you got to do.
Like an hour of his time, he's going to have new grass coming up there all over the place. And these newer varieties of grass, honestly, they use much less water. We're talking half, sometimes even up to like 2/3 less water to stay green. And they resist insects, and they resist disease. Yeah. And the root system is 3 or 4 feet long. I mean, that's what makes them so drought tolerant, because they'll go after that water. But it looks as nice as a traditional turf. It's soft, it's durable, can handle abuse and wear, and still look really, really good. And so, we've been talking about it on the show, but the Cache Water District is doing a program. If you want to rejuvenate your turf, especially your park strip, they will help with the cost of the seed.
Doing that.
Yeah, so you want to go to the Cache Water District website and get some information there. You go in and talk to them. They'll give you a certificate where you can come in to Anderson's and get half price off of some drought-tolerant grass that is exceptional. It's such nice grass. And if you put that in your parking strip, instead of watering 3 times a week, you could water once every 7 to 10 days.
Oh yeah.
And your park strip would look great, and you don't have to re-landscape the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
We can just kill that grass. Super easy to do. Basically the same process as what I said to Chuck, but instead of just killing the weeds, we're gonna kill the whole thing, and then we're gonna cut it real close.
Yeah.
And then it's very recommended to put that little bit of topsoil over the top of it and then seed it, and you'll have new grass up in a week or 10 days. You'll have brand new grass coming up. And then next year in the hot, dry part of the summer, you'll be watering every 7 to 10 days instead of 3 times a week. So,
and really, anyone can qualify if they're residents of the valley.
Of the valley, this is for everybody if you want to take advantage of it. But it cuts your price down to about 3 cents a square foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 cents a square foot. I mean,
what a great deal.
It is so inexpensive to be able to do this. I mean, we're talking for 1,000 square feet, you would be into it probably $20 to $30.
Yeah, I was going to say
$20
under
to $30.
$50.
Yeah, $20 to $30 for that. And the Cache Water District's helping supplement that. And this is like our version of Flip the Strip, but instead of re-landscaping the whole strip, which can cost thousands of dollars, you can rejuvenate your park strip, put in a drought-tolerant grass that looks really good, and do it for $50.
You mentioned there's a couple different breeds of seed that qualify for this.
So the mix that they're sponsoring right now is the Eden mix that we talk about, and it is a blend of turf type rye. Turf type fescues. So it's a dwarf turf type fescue, which is extremely drought tolerant, and then a very drought tolerant bluegrass mix that is aggressive. It really spreads, so it recuperates really fast if there's some damage, and it's an amazing. Drought tolerant grass has that insect and disease resistance in it. It's got some softness to the grass. It's not coarse and rough textured. But in the spring and in the fall, it would look like absolutely amazing without you watering it at all.
Okay.
And then in the summertime, you water it once a week, and it will look really pretty good for the whole summer. It won't be perfect, but it's going to look really good. And then in the fall, as soon as it starts raining like it is right now, it'll just green right back up and go crazy.
Okay.
So great grass. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Amazing.
Eden mix.
Eden.
And if you go to the Cache Water District, you can get that, qualify for that program where it's super inexpensive. Well, Mark, we only have about 3 minutes left. We want to mention again that the cash sale has been bumped up.
Yeah.
And we think it's around 65%, but don't hold us to it.
So we decided this week for October, celebrate October, we would increase the discount on our cash sale. So 65% off with cash, 50% off if you're paying with a credit card or a check. So you get that extra discount if you pay with cash. If you come to the store and it's slightly different, again, I'm going to say my apologies, but I've been basically away this whole week for various reasons.
Make it good, yes.
And sometimes the employees do things and don't tell me about it. So,
or you just there's a little lack of communication while you've been
they're
gone.
Like, oh, Mark
said
60. We'll make it 65. It's good. It's like no problem. But we do have some nice trees left. We do have some nice shrubs left. Some roses. And with this moisture, it will be perfect to plant next week, and bulbs for sure. So we've got bulbs, garlic, tulips, daffodils, hyacinths. This is the prime time to be planting bulbs for next year, so we can enjoy those flowers. It'll be so cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you also mention you have fall mums coming?
We've got mums too. So there's a sale on mums too. So we've got some miniature mums. We've got some full size mums, and they are on sale as well too. And I don't have the prices in front of me, so just recognize that they are on sale, and we've got some great colors and some good looking plants right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and we've got just a few shows left.
I know. We only got like 4 shows left.
Yeah.
Scary.
will be the winter before we know it.
Yep. So some great things coming up. I got a couple of really great guests that we can visit with for fall. We can talk about fall cleanup and harvesting your squash and harvesting your fruit and prepping your lawn and your yard for next year and winterizing roses. We got lots of great topics to talk about for the next month. So, good time.
And if you missed a part of the show, you can always go back and visit the KVNU podcast library, select Garden Guide, and you'll be able to listen to prior shows. Get all of the tips that you may have missed during the show. And, of course, we'll be back again coming up next Saturday. And one programming note, of course, we'll have Safe Money Radio coming up in just a minute, and then conference for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's coming up at 10 o'clock again this afternoon at noon, and or at 2 o'clock, and then again tonight at 6 o'clock. So enjoy the weekend, enjoy the rain, and we'll be back next week here on the Garden Guide on KVNU.
Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM with the